Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
You felt that, didn't you? So why can't they do that anymore? Why does a single scene from 2008 land harder than most superhero movies from the last decade? The budgets got bigger, the casts got more expensive, and yet something that costs nothing, something that used to be a baseline requirement for a scene, has almost completely disappeared from the big screen. See, what most film analysis gets wrong is that it focuses entirely on the writing, or entirely on the performance, as if they're separate things. But a commanding monologue is actually a three-dimensional structure. It's built from the body, the voice, and the sentence architecture working together like a triple-braided rope. Pull any one strand loose, and the whole thing unravels. And right now, in modern blockbuster cinema, all three strands are on fire. Here's an acting secret that will permanently change how you watch movies. Stillness is not the absence of power. Stillness is power. Think about it in real life. When someone is genuinely, terrifyingly angry, the kind of angry where things are about to get very serious, they don't flail around. They go quiet. They go still. And then, that's what makes it scary. Now think about a nervous intern on their first day. They fidget. They gesture too much. Their body is broadcasting, "I don't know if I belong here." Here's the brutal truth. A huge chunk of recent blockbuster cinema looks like that nervous intern. The heroes and the villains are constantly moving, gesturing, turning away mid-sentence. And the reason isn't always bad directing or lazy acting. The reason is the script doesn't have enough gravity to hold them still. When a character has genuine psychological certainty, they plant their feet. They breathe from their gut. They look you dead in the eye and they let the silence sit there, getting heavier and heavier. Let's talk about something weirdly technical that will make complete emotional sense once you hear it. There's a phenomenon called the actor's formant. You know that feeling when certain actors just seem to own the audio space? Like the room gets quieter when they talk, even though they haven't raised their voice? That's not magic. That's diaphragmatic breathing meeting resonance mastery, meeting absolute scenic confidence. Compare that to the clavicular breathing that dominates modern delivery. Shallow, anxious. A great monologue works like music. You start low and contained. You build. You let the pauses do work, and then you hit the apex and let it ring. Modern cinematic dialogue doesn't do this. Instead, the pacing is dictated by the anticipation of the next joke. Everything rushes, everything bleeds together, and nothing has time to mean anything.
I think I'm beginning to understand why your Mordo didn't like you very much!
Now, here's where it gets interesting, because there's a specific origin point for this, and it started as something genuinely brilliant. In the late 1990s, Joss Whedon made Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he wrote the characters like real friend groups actually talk. Sarcastic, self-aware, quick. It worked beautifully. But when this DNA got transplanted into blockbuster superhero films, what started as a scalpel became a sledgehammer. Tense dramatic standoff? Add a quip. Universe-threatening villain delivering their manifesto? Undercut it before it gets too heavy. The writers started using it defensively, because writing a sincere, emotionally vulnerable moment is terrifying. You've been trained. You probably don't know it, but you have. Modern blockbuster cinema has conditioned audiences to anticipate the deflation. So now, when a character starts to say something genuinely heavy, the audience is already waiting for the joke. And that means even the moments that don't have a quip can't land properly. I want to read you something. I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless. It's frightening. Turns the legs to jelly. I ask you, to what end? Dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. This is not how a person talks at a coffee shop. This is how a deity addresses the condemned. And the genius is that it's written to be spoken. Now compare that to... I'll let you sit in that comparison. Here's the thing though, and this is the part that should make you angry and hopeful at the same time. The template still works. We know it works, because when filmmakers trust it, audiences respond with something close to reverence. Take Chukwudi Iwuji's High Evolutionary in Guardians 3. prepared for the role by studying Henry IV's Crown monologue, brought zero self-deprecation to a character who is completely, operatically, terrifyingly sincere about his monstrous worldview. The result? One of the most acclaimed villain performances in years from a film that most people assumed was a financial afterthought.
But that rancid word.
Or look at Michael Keaton's car scene in Spider-Man: Homecoming. He has the quiet, menacing look of a blue-collar father who has done his math and knows exactly what he's capable of. What do all these scenes have in common? Someone in the room, the writer, the director, the actor, or all three, made a decision. A quiet, courageous decision that goes against everything the defensive modern blockbuster instinct demands. They decided to mean it. So what actually fixes this? It's not nostalgia. This isn't a bring back the good old days argument. This is a craft argument, and craft can be learned. Craft can be chosen. The blueprint already exists. When Kenneth Branagh directed the first Thor in 2011, he wasn't working with a brilliant script or unprecedented budget. He was working with a ridiculous premise: literal Norse gods, operatic family drama, a protagonist who gets his hammer taken away and learns humility in New Mexico. And he made it work by refusing to be embarrassed by it. He treated it like Shakespeare because that's the tradition it was drawing from. He let the cadence breathe. He let the silence mean something. The cure for the defensive monologue is not complexity or bigger budgets or better casting. Writers have to stop using jokes as exits from emotional commitment. Directors have to stop covering for shaky scripts with kinetic cutting. Actors have to stop performing at scenes and start living inside them. And here's the thing about audiences, about you, that the studios seem to have forgotten.
I'm listening.
You are not as cynical as they think you are. You went and saw those early films and you let yourself feel things. You made those characters iconic. You felt the weight of a shield being put down and a monologue about the price of freedom, and you sat in it completely, without irony, because the film gave you permission to. You are absolutely ready to do that again. The question is whether anyone has the guts to ask you to. Every great speech you've ever felt in a movie theater, every moment that made you forget your popcorn and hold your breath and believe for 2.5 hours in gods and destiny and the price of freedom, every single one of those moments was built by someone willing to be completely, vulnerably, undefensively sincere. Just a human being, fully inhabiting a character speaking words that were chosen with the care and architecture of something that was meant to last. That's all it ever was. That's all it needs to be again. Now, if you have any monologues from the MCU that actually made you feel something, drop it in the comments. I want to know.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not Tony Stark.